for all intents and purposes, I am a woman. People look at me differently. They see you as this macho male, but my heart and my soul and everything that I do in life, it is part of me. That female side is part of me. That's who I am.
Bruce Jenner was known as one of the most dominant athletes in our country's history, and now he wants to be known as something else, confirming to ABC's Diane Sawyer what many had long suspected and becoming the overnight most famous transgender person in the world. He started a conversation, there's no question about it. Where will it go is our consideration this morning.
We have two guests to tell us about that. Joining us now, two transgender advocates, model and founder of Gender Proud, Gina Rosero, and actress Jocelyn DeFries, who stars in the independent film Carla. Great to have both of you. Jocelyn, what did you think when you watched the Bruce Jenner interview?
I found it to be so touching and beautiful. I thought it was really well done. I really liked the care that Diane Sawyer put into it. I loved the emotion that was expressed. It touched me big time.
Gina, what were your thoughts?
I think it was very powerful. There was so much compassion and loving, especially the family dynamics.
His kids, hearing from his kids and how they support him?
So important, because most of the case, you know, we hear a lot of these cases and it's not like that, you know. So to show the empathy and the compassion and love that this is a transition not just for Bruce Jenner, but for the whole family and the community that he's surrounded with.
What do you think it has done? Because I wonder, you both felt it personally. In terms of the transgender community, what kind of flag bearer is he going to be?
I think this is so important, you know, for visibility, you know, to finally humanize this experience and to touch into so many nuances about what it means to be trans and to go through the many nuances of the journey. But most importantly, to point out, like, visibility does not. It's not the same as equality. You know, there's so many other things. Well, we also need to point out that Bruce Jenner is a person of wealth.
It's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same for every
right.
story.
That's a very important thing to point out.
Now, one of the obvious outcomes of this has been rejection, right? This is also emboldening critics. They're coming out. You've both lived your journey very different ways. Gina, for you, you decided to come out. Nobody exposed you. You exposed yourself. You had reassigned at 19.
Sure.
And then you had your own journey, and now you tell that in a movie. But Gina, starting with you, why did you decide to come out? What was your fear? What was the reality?
It was a time that I was ready. You know, there's this notion of self-determination, and it's important to point out. Like, we need to create a culture where culture and policies and people are allowed to have a safe space to be their most authentic self. And culture and policy needs to reflect that. I am from the Philippines. I grew up in the Philippines. I benefited from the culture that is culturally visible to be trans. So people know about what it means to be trans, but we need to go deeper into understanding the many layers of, like, what does a trans person is going through, the access to health, discrimination, violence, and, you know, and discrimination that happens within the transgender community.
The movie Carla is notable because, one, we've never seen anything like this before, where it's a transgender person telling the story of a journey, even though it's not her own. But the quiet moments, the pain that that person has to deal with inside and from around them, how real is that?
Oh, it's absolutely real. I mean, I think that one of the most important things is that, you know, although Carla's story is not my story, and I have a very different story, it's important to know that the internal struggle. And that's what I really, you know, was so grateful to the director, Ellie Hershko, and the people, you know, working with the amazing, like, Laverne Cox and Mark Margolis. These people really, they wanted to share something powerful, and they were committed to it. And it was a very passionate project for all of us.
Not everyone is comfortable with what Bruce Jenner had to say. Some people have come out. There has been some pushback against it. Wendy Williams, she's a daytime talk show host, as you guys know. She was not comfortable with it. I'm not sure if we have the sound, but I'll just read it to you. Let me play for you what she had to say about this.
You know, I'm all for and very happy for anybody who lives in their own truth, including Bruce transitioning. But he should have thought about that before having all the kids. Like, you've got kids to explain to, and you can't tell me that Kylie is the only one not going along with this. Belinda, shame on you.
She's saying shame on you because he had kids that now have to endure this. What do you think, Jocelyn?
I think that's absolutely wrong. I think that, you know, everyone has families, everyone has their own story and how long it takes someone to accept themselves and go through that internal struggle, no one can judge that.
There's no textbook for this kind of
I
thing.
mean, this is an identity that's happening within a very globally interconnected world. So people are coming into this perception about this is something new for them, But transgender identities have always existed for the longest time, Maybe it's coming as such a new thing, but we need to have this deeper conversation. Systems that would allow people to be themselves, and to fully understand that gender is not a binary. It's a spectrum, and we should have that understanding the earliest, the better, for kids to understand this.
And a real debate about what is right to judge and what isn't. Legally, culturally, it's all coming out
let's
now.
go with let's not judge.
That would be nice, but I don't think we're there yet.
Let's
But it's
aim
great
for
to
it.
have you both. Good luck going forward. Good luck with the movement.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care,
Thank you
ladies.
so
Good to
much.
see you.